Pulse 95. Between local lines. Notes from the Emirate.
Hello and welcome back onto the Morning Majlis. We are focusing on schools in Sharjah. Sharjah Private Education Authority had issued a guideline earlier telling schools on how to begin their phased reopening from the 31st of August. And we were told earlier that parents will have the option and school students will have the option to do distance learning for the first term. However, this time round, we will start our schools, but it will be distance learning for the first 2 weeks of the new term. To talk to us a little bit more about this, we are joined once again, and it's a pleasure to welcome Laheeb and Mutwalli, who is the quality expert at the Sharjah Private Education Authority. A very good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you back on the Morning Majlis with us, bright and early. Let's start talking about the purpose of having the first 2 weeks as mandatory distance learning. What led to this decision?
Yes, let me start by saying that our ultimate goal has always been and will always be the health and safety and well-being of our students and, of course, all school staff. The local Emergency Crisis and Disaster Management Authority, in collaboration with Sharjah Private Education Authority, have been on regular basis meeting and assessing the situation. And we all know that this is an evolving situation. So things happen, and change. The health situation, that is. And according to that, the decision was made to go back to the online learning mode. In addition to this, and I remember I did mention this last time we met, that we would ensure that all students and school staff or eligible students, of a certain age group and school staff are to be tested prior to going back to school. Now, we've started, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health, the COVID-19 testing for all school staff. The students' phase has not started yet. Mm-hmm. Now, that's another reason why we thought, let's make sure that happens before our students go back to school. To give that sort of level of reassurance to the society and parents in particular, that things are as much as possible, under control and are and the health situation is under control to a certain extent.
And Laheeb, how have the parents and teachers reacted to this news of continuing the distance learning for another 2 weeks?
Considering this is less than 24 hours ago since we released the you guys are always fast.
Yeah.
But so far, what we've been, the feedback we've been receiving, is positive, is pro such a decision. Let me tell you, the parents were even reluctant to send names of their kids to schools, as an assurance that they will go back to the school premises, because based on those lists, we are supposed to start the COVID-19 testing.
Right.
So, these lists of names would go to the ministry, and so hence, like all the arrangements of the COVID testing takes place. So if we put all these reasons together, this is actually what made us take that decision. I also need to mention that we did send monitoring groups to each and every private school in Sharjah over the past 2 weeks to see how prepared they are to receive students on the 30th of August, which is Sunday next week. And not all schools were ready. Some were very, very much ready to receive and start the school year, but not all of them were. So that's also, another factor that we took in consideration in arriving at this decision of going back to the virtual learning.
Can you elaborate more on that aspect in particular? How far are they from being ready? What exactly is the hurdle for a lot of these schools?
It's all manageable, to tell you the truth. Because remember, we talked about the guidelines, the operational guidelines. the physical distancing, the hygiene and cleaning procedures, the bus capacity, the school bus capacity, and the directions and the stickers on the floors and on the chairs and all that kind of stuff. We felt they just needed more time because, everything is some people do panic. We all are worried. Numbers are starting to get higher again, so everybody has the right to feel a bit reluctant to go back to the buildings, whether it's offices or schools. Even we at Sharjah Private Education Authority feel like we're wearing the masks all the time, and we try to maintain the distance all the time between each other. It's just that you have to take all the precautionary measures into account to stay safe.
I just want to pick up on the aspect that the testing phase of teachers. So, are we? Can we gladly say that that phase is now complete, or are we still ongoing with that? And then, is it the parents' responsibility to get their children tested, or do they tell your authority and then you? They coordinate with the Ministry of Health to get all of the students tested who are intending to return back to school?
Okay, for the first part, the phase of testing the teachers and school staff is almost done.
Okay.
Today and tomorrow probably will be finishing everybody. As far as the students are concerned, no, parents are not obliged to do the test themselves. We are offering it for free in collaboration with the health authorities in Sharjah, and most probably it will be, of course the final plans are yet to be announced, but most probably it will be taking place at the school premises itself. So each school will designate an area for the health professionals to go there and do the testing, only for the students who will be going back to school. Those who will continue online will not have to do the test.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have to come back to this because there were a couple of texts that came into us earlier saying if it's now just 2 weeks of distance learning, is the plan of us not sending our students or children for the first term as a whole, has that changed or not? So we can safely say that that aspect is still on offer, where students can take the whole term as distance learning.
Absolutely.
Well, there we go. Well, Laheeb, thank you very much for joining us this morning once again, and we look forward to welcoming you onto the studios again in the near future to talk to us about how the first term has been, but all the very best with the phased testing and restarting of schools.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
It was a pleasure. That was Laheeb Mutwalli, who is the quality expert at Sharjah Private Education Authority, answering your questions and answering our questions surrounding the reopening of schools in the Emirate of Sharjah, the private schools, that is. And we'll be right back now after a bit of a musical interval and lots of entertainment to look forward to on Pulse 95. And up next, we'll be talking about the popular Brock app. What's that? Can you get a ride? Well, something's been approved. Stay tuned to the Morning Majlis.
Pulse 95. You're listening to Pulse 95. Pulse 95.
It's Pulse 95.